Here's somebody with a troubled past, drawn into the spotlight of a story that's already begun. We're already at a crossroads. Choosing a path in life is that fork in the road where you make a choice or simply stop living. This time, it was best to run and live to fight another day. Let us hope you're ready for it when it comes. Toxanol built vessels called arks to save themselves from the impending doom. But there are few records of the chain of events that led to the big apocalypse eons ago, but it's clear the world wasn't prepared for how recklessly the Toxanol Corporation would make its mark on the world. Their rare earth mining and nuclear industries generated tons of waste, and without consideration for the future, they dumped it all in landfills until they ran out of space. That's when they made the big mistake. He doesn't seem surprised that you don't recognize him. You were just a child back then, the night everything changed. There have been rumors of a one-eyed Ronin seen outside the Great Wall, and he's happy to see it's true. The legend of the one-eyed child that grew up as an outcast is old and sad. The tree started to die when the end of days begun, and it wasn't long after that that the World Eaters arrived. The genetic evolution that occurred after the apocalypse that Toxanol Corporation inflicted on the land set the World Eaters' DNA into overdrive. He wants you to understand that you'll all die if the tree isn't saved. His friends have prepared something specific for each World Eater. The Mekton, the Octopod, the Majute, and the Googlide are almost ready to ride. Know that the Tree of Life is dying. Its days are numbered. Without help, it can't endure the environmental change and assault from the World Eaters. Must be the World Eater that chewed off Out-of-Date's leg. You'll need a hat trick to bring that down. Bang, bang! Wow, wow, wow! As time passes, memories fade. And sometimes feelings change. It's not about who you were, it's about who you'll become. This story is far from over. rest, and you'll find strength for tomorrow. Nothing could stop Lupa Lupin from setting the world on fire. So here it comes, the past coming to haunt the present. You must go through fire and water to make it out of here. Death is not to be feared by one who has lived life with a pure heart. A part of her will live on in you. The creature is hungry for more. Nothing is going to stand in its way now. If a sacrifice is made for someone else, it's not lost, but passed on to the next. Life must go on. Real sacrifice comes from love and necessity when all other options are exhausted. The ultimate test of conscience is the willingness to give up anything to save what you truly care about. What you do for yourself dies with you. What you do for your kin remains and makes you immortal in their memory. As the moment fades and is lost, the only thing that remains is loneliness. It doesn't mean you'll forget your past. It simply means you need to move on. It's the porcupine nibbling bark. It took quite a liking to the crunchy stuff after munching down Out-of-Date's leg. Can you feel it? It's the brisk wind of change. Don't let this opportunity slide. There it is, the tree of life. The idea that all life is related by common descent, where the twigs are existing species and those produced in the past represent the succession of the extinct. The tree's great branches were once budding twigs, a connection between the past, present, and future. A representation of all extinct and living species with its ever-branching and beautiful ramifications. We are an evolution of those that came before. Don't give up now. Yes, you can do anything. The sky's the limit. Now, let's take this back to Earth. That's a jumbo puff with an appetite. Ain't no fuzz. Better put an end to it before it ends our world. The Jumbo Puff is kicking it up a notch. It's time for an electric performance. A couple of more hits and it's a fried circuit board. Bad feeling about this. It goes all the way down to the stomach. Who would have guessed it would go down with a throw-up? Can it really get any better than that? Lupin's camp has always been there, hidden deep inside the mountains. Lupin says he's been looking forward to this moment. He wanted you to come here and see for yourself where it all started. He was so little when your mother and kin came here to put an end to his mother just because she was different. A hunter. Only vengeance. He can see that you're like your mother. You would have made the same decision and taken the same action she did. You're a killer too. They orphaned him, left him alone, an outcast and a freak. Lupin says he's been reliving the moment every night since then. He says your mother and her disciples started something that couldn't be undone. They created the monster he would become. That's why he spared you that night he raised the village when you were a child. He wanted you to suffer for life, like he had. They used to call this a thoroughfare. Look at all those old homes. The Sifu is seeking revenge too. He hasn't forgotten what Lupa Lupin did, but he also wants to stop him from attacking his tribe. Now that the world as we know it seems to end, he wants to make sure the Lupin ends with it. He hopes you agree, even if it goes against your light-hearted nature. There's no room for predators in the world the Jagni tribe is building. Lupa Lupin's own fear was his shackles, not the roots of the tree. It just changed him. You have a chance to stand back and let the tribe handle it. The Sifu is ready to step into the fray. Are the odds about to change in your favor? If a friend dies, something inside you dies. You can save the Sifu by making yourself a target. You're shockwaves spread when the world crumbles. This is not a prophecy, me telling you about the future. It's you shaping it. Here's a vulgar display of power. This is how it ends. The predator and the world itself suffering. But at least it's a sign they're both still alive. The weak can't forgive. Forgiveness is a strength. It's not all life and death. It's no better time than now to accept a helping hand. Do you wonder what turn life might have taken if you'd done things different? A left when you went right? A yes when you said no? You saw a world drenched in its own cruelty and didn't sway from your path. And so, a great cataclysm draws close. Life doesn't care about heroes and happy endings. Bad things can lead to good. A seed of life, the beginning of something new. You balanced the dark within a world imbalanced in its light nature and made a difference in a place that needed change. You allied with the Jagni tribe and became omnipresent and, most importantly, feared. However, light and dark does simply represent the polarities of life. One can't exist without the other. This is how it begins. The world's headed towards rebirth of a primal paradise as evolution paves way. We're at the mercy of nature. So, trust your conscience to show you the way, and everything else will follow. As foretold, you were destined to split the chains of this world. But you're not alone. Those that shared your perspective and gained your trust will accompany you on your journey. Is there a world out there that's better suited for those imbalanced in their light nature than this one? Whether or not, we'll leave your story on record, so those who come after will know you let the world end to start anew, despite your light nature. So, when all is said and done, it turned out to be an unusual ending after all. What could be better than ending the story the right way? Ending it your way, a beginning of something new.